coming up to share.
Good morning, everyone. So today I get the honor to share about some things that our Lamb youth have done this summer. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Felicia, and these are 3 of the interns that we had this summer. Which one? Okay, there we go. So this is like a picture from our camping trip. So this is kind of like all the kids that we had this whole summer that worked with us. And so kind of what we did was that we went out to 2 different apartment complexes, and the residents there were primarily Muslim Burmese refugees. And so we just played games with them all day, and we did Bible stories and craft times, and it was just phenomenal this summer. And so we're just going to share some of the highlights that we had this summer. So these are just some of our interns that are not here. All right, Mary Jane.
Okay. So I don't know if all of you guys were here last time we talked, but before the summer we gave a presentation, and I talked about how like the work was really hard because it was kind of like we were just breaking the ground. We didn't have a lot of results. But then something happened this past summer that just really made me hopeful, and I could just see that stuff was taking root. So we were on the bus to day camp, and I was sitting with one of the Muslim kids, and he pointed out to an ambulance and said, what is that symbol on there? And it was a cross. So I kind of was like, oh, the cross. And I kind of started to explain. I was like, well, do you know what the cross is? And he was like, oh, it's a cross. I know what it is. Jesus died on the cross to save us from our sin. And I was like, it took me a second to respond because he was Muslim. I didn't know how he knew that. And I was like, okay, how did you know that? He was like, well, duh, you tell me every time you see me. And I was like, oh, okay. So I don't know. That doesn't mean he believes it, but he knows now. So in the future, maybe that's something that he can turn to, that he knows. And it just made me really hopeful to see that the people that we're seeing, because we've worked with him for maybe 4 years now, he actually doesn't live at the apartment complexes anymore, but his mom brings him every time we're there because he loves to play with us so much. So that was just something that was so eye-opening to see what God was doing.
Our bonds with the kids at Party in the Park have grown and strengthened over the course of this past summer. We had kids specifically asking and requesting that their buddies from the Lamb Youth would come out and see them. We even had kids that used to live at the apartment complexes that no longer live there have their parents bring them every day to come and see us. One of my biggest highlights of my summer was when my buddy, who had moved away, and I hadn't seen him all summer, came for one day. I've been praying for this kid for an entire year. I didn't know that I would ever see him again. A lot of the kids that we haven't seen for an entire year, we had him been out there since the past summer, yet they still were excited to see us every single day. And just the fact that they were so excited to see us every day means that we're impacting them for the greater good.
Okay, so I'm going to be talking about day camp. It's where we go and we pick up the kids, take them up to Camp Luther Haven for the day. Oh my goodness. Okay, so starting out like early in the morning, my mom was able to pick me up and the other interns, and we go to the apartment complexes and round up the kids. Monday, they were already at the park waiting for us. That's how excited they were. And then like as the week went on, more and more kids started joining us because their friends had told them about day camp. Some days we had more kids and some days we had less because they can only miss so many days of Arabic school at a time. The younger kids are able to come every day because they don't have Arabic school until later in the day. Or is that the older kids? Oh, okay. However, on the last day, we had about 60 kids on the bus. Do you know how to fit that many kids on a school bus? That's insane. But throughout the time that we were there, we were able to share Jesus with the kids through song time, story time, and even on the bus ride home, like MJ said. It was really interesting because when you talk to them, you see how much they listen and how much they actually take in. I mean, there were definitely some challenges. Like, it was chaotic with that many kids, but isn't it a blessing to have that as your problem? Like, that is so many kids. So it was like good crazy. Also, the days were really long. But I think Miss Jeannie referred to it as the best kind of tired you'll ever be. So that was like the best week. Not the best week of my summer, but like I don't know. I feel like I really grew as a person, and I love those kids. So it was wonderful.
So then something else is like, I don't know how much you guys realize this, but like there's like a lot of like fighting that goes way back between like the Korean, which is like primarily in our service, the kids that we have, and then the Muslim. So then like it was just really like cool how God could like do something that none of us would have thought of. Like here we have like these Muslim kids and these Korean kids who all their lives have been grown up to hate each other, and then now they're out at the playgrounds playing with each other and like becoming friends with one another. And so that to me was like one of the greatest things I saw this summer. And so we have this little kid in our church service who a couple years back, he said, "I hate Burmese people," and he was like referring to his Muslim neighbors. And then as the summer went on, you could just see him going out of his way to like make friends with these kids. And then like there was like a day when we were just driving through the apartment complex and we saw him playing with his Muslim neighbors, like, and we weren't even out there like encouraging him to do it. He just did it on his own. So I think that maybe like that's something that we didn't pray for, but that's definitely something that God did this summer too. And so with all of that, I want to like implore you also to do the same as like what our youth did this summer, to like get out of your comfort zone and to reach your lost friends. Like as parents and as older participants in the church, you guys need to be the ones setting the example too. So if like the kids in our church are brave enough to go to the people that their parents told them to stay away from, and they're brave enough to go out to these crazy apartment complexes, then you should be brave enough to even just to talk to your coworkers or your neighbors or your friends and just invite them to church and invite them to believing in Jesus too. And so with all of that, we would like, And so with all of that too, we also are selling these awesome t-shirts that we're all wearing today. So like these will help go to like support Lamb youth, and also they're like great witnessing tools because they have this beautiful Bible verse from this summer on the back. So if you would like to purchase one of them, they're $10, and I have them in sizes from adult small to adult extra large. And then so also with that, we would like to honor the 2 Lamb youth who we have in this service. So we would like to start with Adriana, who was an intern this summer. So this is a certificate saying that she helped this summer and just for thanking her for her hard work. And then this is also for you. And we'd also like to call up Bennett to thank him too for all of his hard work. So would you mind coming up? Thank you guys so much for all your prayers this summer.
The reason I said it's not the best week of my life, because it is a very close second. The first one is the week where I get to do absolutely nothing. That's the only week all summer.